Hello everybody, have a brand new knife to show you today, and currently this month it is October 2020, and so just in time for Halloween, I found a knife that kind of fits that theme very well. So what we're looking at today is the Boker Plus Titan Drop folder, but this one is a special edition with the artwork from Frank Frazetta. And so this particular type of artwork, or this art that he created, was called the Ghoul Queen, and we can kind of see why. We have a voluptuous woman on this knife, and so it's kind of an interesting design for a folder. And one of the reasons why I'm showing this knife off is because right now, if you go to I believe it's Smoky Mountain Knife Works, they actually have a really good deal on this series of knife. And so this one I picked up for about $21, and so that's really a good deal for the Titan Drop folder. So if you're not familiar with the Titan Drop, it is a very thin design, and it has a nice 3 3/4 inch blade. This particular model, this run, was made in 440C. So, nothing super special to talk about. But again, the main draw to this design for people who are interested in it are going to be the artwork on the handles. So we see the Ghoul Queen artwork, and I can give you a closer up look at that in just right now. So take a look at that. Alright, so now that you got kind of a closer look at the design, it's one of those designs you're either going to really like it or you're not. And so definitely not for everybody, and for me, it wasn't for me either at the original price they were asking for the knife. So when these were originally released, I want to say the price was around $70, $80-ish range. It was kind of up there. And now I didn't know who Frank Frazetta was before buying this knife and before seeing it at Smoky Mountain Knife Works, but he was apparently a very prolific comic book artist, an artist for a lot of fantasy work and fantasy literature. So if you've never heard his name, if you take a look at some of the images he's created, you're probably going to definitely recognize those. And, he was a very well-known artist in his time. So unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but this was kind of done, I suppose, in his honor, I guess. But Boker Plus decided to partner with whoever controls Frazetta's artwork and bring this to us. So it wasn't only the Titan Drop folder. There were a couple of other knives from Boker Plus that have the same artwork on it. Also available is the Boker Plus Gordito, a Boker Plus lockback knife. It looks kind of like a Barlow pattern, as well as the Boker Plus Excalibur knife has the same design on it. And so currently, the reason why I think, in my opinion, the price is so low is just because there may not be a lot of crossover between fans of knives and fans of the artwork of, Frank Frazetta. So I can imagine kind of like a big Venn diagram here. And so we have artwork lovers there, knife lovers there, and there's probably only a very small sliver in the middle of people who are interested in both, really. And so that's a great opportunity if you want a quality knife and a really nicely made knife from Boker Plus. This is a good chance to get a hold of it. Even if you're not a fan of the artwork, it's a very functional, slim, easy to carry blade. I already had one in my collection, actually. This particular model here was from their Decade Edition. And so it's, again, the same knife, this one with the carbon fiber scales and a VG10 blade. But again, it's very lightweight in hand, but still a full big size blade. So we can kind of see the side-by-side comparison there. So that being said, the original variation of the Titan Drop folder does have titanium scales, and you can still pick up that variation of the knife. But these two variants are actually lighter in weight. So the Ghoul Queen version that we have right here, this one comes in at about 3 ounces. And so 3 ounces for a 3 3/4 inch blade is actually pretty darn impressive. So that's great. Very thin profile. What I really like about it as well, in addition to the pocket clip being reversible for left or right carry, It's just that generic, not generic in a bad way, but in a good way, that classic, Benchmade Emerson style clip. So nothing fancy about it, nothing special to look at. It's just that 3-hole pocket clip that we see on a lot of knives. And so that gives us a lot of commonality with other folders as well. So that's just nice to see it. And again, the same on this version as well. So the pocket clip is reversible. And being a lockback design, it's surprisingly easy to flick this knife out. There's, of course, no play when it's open. It's rock solid. The lockback action is super easy to actuate. So very smooth. Just a well-refined design. So it's kind of nice that they decided to bring this pattern out to the Titan drop. So that being said, before we do anything else, let me show you some size comparisons. And let me tell you the weight too. So this one was a 3-ounce knife with the aluminum scales with the artwork on it. The carbon fiber version is 2.5 ounces, so it's a little bit lighter in weight. And the titanium version, I think, comes in over 3. It's a little bit heavier as well. But still, even at that weight, it's very much worth it if you want the titanium version of this knife. But we have the Titan drop folders here. I was trying to find something similar in size, so I was thinking of the Spyderco Endura. And so you can see the size comparison there. Very, very equitable, I think. So the Endura is a pretty good comparison. But we can also compare one of my favorites, and one that I always bring out to the table is the Kershaw Blur. So again, not as large of a blade, but you can see a size comparison to get an idea of how big this is in your hand. But that being said, this is very much a large gentleman's knife. That's kind of how I would classify it because it's such a thin profile. The handle of this knife is just very nice and easy to carry. You forget it's in your pocket because it's so lightweight. But when you do need the knife to come out, it's a very substantial folder. Really well made. And so that being said, even if you're not a fan of the artwork, I suppose if you really wanted to, you could always just sand it off and you'd have a bare aluminum scale. I wouldn't see having to do that for me. But the fact that we're getting a really quality design for a very low price, I think it's actually worth jumping on right now. And as a matter of fact, I was going to purchase the Boker Plus Excalibur version of this knife, but unfortunately, out of the series of 4, that's the only one that has not dropped in price. So the other 2 are very inexpensive as well. And this one is just a great value at $21. So I would recommend, for $25 shipped after shipping, it's a darn steal. And it's just in time for Halloween. You get kind of that spooky feeling to it. The actual artwork has a lot more than just the Ghoul Queen on it. It has these really cool looking demons and skeletons on it. So I'll throw that up there on the video and you can check it out. But really nice artwork from Frank Frazetta. Again, I didn't know his name before I bought this knife, but I know it now. And again, I recognize quite a bit of his artwork. So if you're familiar with any fantasy novels, Conan the Barbarian, things like that, he was kind of the fantasy designer for the big burly male, strong man, type guy. So very, very cool to see this brought out to the knife world. And I'm definitely glad to share it with all of you guys. But to me, even if you don't like the artwork, the knife itself is more than worth the trouble. So by all means, the Boker Plus Titan drop, Frank Frazetta. I will leave a link in the comments section with the link to where I purchased this. And now again, I'm not sponsored or anything. I probably should be, given that I'm giving them such good advertising here. But again, this is from Smoky Mountain Knife Works. This knife is available from other retailers as well, but none of the other ones that I've seen have dropped the price so drastically. So I'm thinking that Smoky Mountain might be just trying to get rid of stock by moving these at a very low price. And I've just seen the price on this drop as the months go by. I watch the ads in their email come through, and the price dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped. And at this price, I think it's a safe bet that you're going to get a good buy here. So by all means, if you're interested in the Titan drop, pick it up. Happy Halloween, everyone. Bye-bye.